What's up, everybody? Welcome to Championship Week edition of the CanesInSight Daily Podcast, powered by Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. The juice is overflowing. Cup runneth over with juice right now. We got Mike Ryan. He's been talking to you.
I think been in war mode. Caffeinated.
He's been in war mode all morning, going toe-to-toe with Corbin, with Levitard, defending the honor of the Miami Hurricanes. And so I know you're on edge. I know you got that adrenaline pumping. How are we feeling today?
Pete, hop in.
He's producing. There he is.
Look at that. We up the production.
How legit are we right now?
How legit we look like a legitimate operation. I can't wait to see the comments roll in that our sound isn't working. Dude, I told myself that nothing could get me down. And then today started unfolding the way that it did in the transfer portal. LSU's got 3 quarterbacks that I would gladly take down here right now. The optics aren't great, and it's a really strange sensation having that coupled with the fact that it's here. 20 years of suffering. Miami is in the national championship game. I mean, how improbable is this, D-Money? We have a head coach, a Cuban-American head coach that went to Miami and Columbus High, going opposite of a Cuban-American Columbus grad, Heisman Trophy winning quarterback for Indiana. And of all places, this title game is being played right here in Miami, Florida. This is the stuff that fairy tales are made out of. This is a Hollywood movie unfolding right before your eyes. Vibes are high. Miami has been living do or die since Halloween. We are all on edge. We are all proud of our Canes. And then we got this transfer portal nonsense going on right now. And I'm worried if we're going to lose to Wake Forest next year. So, D, please calm me down.
Brother, we're playing for the national championship on Monday. It's impossible to get me down, to get me nervous. I'm looking at it like, wait, we pointed to
yeah,
Pete.
you gotta
I'm right here. Holy moly.
Yeah. When you start cooking, play to Cam.
We are so legit right now. We're up
Kind of looks like JoJo Trader earlier in the season, not knowing the plays.
I'm used to
get that fine bomb experience under your belt now, so you can play the hard cam.
I'm used to the green screen behind me with my mother-in-law trying to do the laundry and kind of vaguely popping into the shot. So this is different. Gasa Kutura, shout out to the whole crew out here making this happen. But yeah, man, how are you? This is what we dreamed about. As far as the quarterback, it's kind of like, it's like having a kid. You don't know if you're going to like the kid. You don't pick the kid. You don't get your first choice as a kid. It just pops out how it pops out. I'm excited for whatever the quarterback vagina pops out, right, with this coach, with this quarterback research. And we're going to figure it out, man. I'm fired up.
I have faith in the staff, and it's actually, believe it or not as scary as last year's quarterback chase was. But it's getting there. And the only reason it's not is because we're playing in a natty and not coming off the highs of the Pop-Tart Bowl. I have an updated list, and it's pathetic.
Your original list has been decimated.
Yeah, the original list has been totally decimated.
You still have the Malley-Emery combo alive.
Yeah,
that was on the list.
That's OLI. Malachi Tony. That's OLI. All right. Also OLI. That white kid that said the N-word that one time that is now with Memphis. But I guess he's back in play because Aaron Nolan went to Memphis. I saw one IG reel and I was ready to forgive him for slipping up that one time.
He was quoting a song.
Yeah.
We're there.
We're down bad. Number 5, Teron Tiger Dickens. Yeah. What are your thoughts here? Because, look, high-end comp, Trinidad, he did it at the lower level. So, look, this isn't going to be a great list, but in my defense, this was a name that I've been saying since September. He's been incredibly impressive, and you're very familiar with his high school game.
Baller, highly productive since youth football. Me personally, I thought we might go after the 6'6" quarterback from North Carolina State. But if you're going after the 5'10" quarterback from Western Carolina, there's something to like there. He brings some certain attributes to the table, highly productive player. But, yeah, man, nothing could bring me down.
All right.
Nothing could bring me down.
You're going to love number 4.
Who's
the
number 4?
aforementioned 6'6" North Carolina State quarterback
Now we're
that
talking.
could only pass the 50-yard line once against Miami. D-Money has been trying to manifest CJ Bailey to Miami for years, and not just the last few days. And at our most desperate, we may have to listen to the man. Mr. Money, how is this in play? Because I thought I saw an announcement that CJ Bailey was coming back.
You know, we were digging deep watching TikTok live videos of just hangouts with all these players. And he said in one of those TikTok live videos, I haven't signed anything. Feels like when we used to follow high school recruiting before inevitably being let down by a Dalvin Cook, by a Matthew Thomas, by an Alex Collins RIP. We'll be watching all these very niche social media accounts trying to figure out who's actually his cousin, who's actually his brother, you know, who's actually someone associated with the player to figure out he's going to come to Miami. We're there now. This is 2013 high school recruiting all over again. But according to TikTok live banter, he has not signed anything. Now, I think if he was going to be the quarterback, he would have been the quarterback already. But we're going to keep talking about it because it makes too much sense. We talked about Carson Beck. We tried to manifest that early on before it was even a thing. That was successfully manifested. Now we're here getting ready to play a home game at the Rock in the national championship. So we're doing it again. CJ Bailey would be my pick 100%.
All right. That one was borderline shady because it's been announced, even though, as you mentioned, rumor innuendo suggests he hasn't signed. The next 3 are straight up me manifesting something shady here, folks. And I'm sorry, this is a reality of college football. And if I had to make a prediction right now, it would be that whoever Miami gets in the transfer portal at that position is somebody that is not presently in the transfer portal. That's just where we are right now. That hasn't stopped agents from reaching out to programs all across the nation. There are guys that are doing the rah-rah team stuff that re-upped and did the whole signing thing, and their agents have been talking to other schools nonstop since before the season started. So I actually feel bad about this one because I believe this guy to be a good kid and he's not asking for any of this. But they have Tyler Van Dyke on the roster. He has more eligibility. The price is going up. Kevin Jennings, come on down. You're number 3.
Let's go.
I feel bad about this one because he didn't ask for any of this, but he's a really good player and would fit Miami's current offensive system. I imagine SMU, you know, their booster base, they'd be willing to compete there. But look, they didn't bring Tyler Van Dyke in for nothing, right? And yeah, this is dirty pool, maybe, but it's not like you leave them. Look, all right, we kind of do. It's Tyler Van Dyke. It's bad, but that's where we're at right now. Kevin Jennings, your thoughts? Not at all possible.
I mean, it's so funny that you had Rhett Lashley shilling for the Canes and the ACC on the network, and now we're taking his quarterback. As a player, I think it'd be great. Darian Coleman reminds me of a younger version of him. So you really recruited a player to that type. I don't think it's outlandish of an idea other than the fact that you are potentially risking lawsuits and admonishments from the conference and a million other things.
That's where we're at.
Love the player.
I feel like the conference.
Let me say, like the player.
Conference owes us. Okay.
Yeah.
I think Jim Phillips, not the strongest of spines, but I feel like he can say, "Hey, everybody, calm down here. These guys made us look really good. Let's keep it going." Totally unfair, and I apologize. Now, this name, quite honestly, I never really thought he was in play. He's one of the few names that would have actually made the original list had I considered him a possibility. This was somebody that I really wanted last year. Jedfish approved, and I saw a surname creeping up in the Menshees of CanesInSight, Noah Fafita. Now, it has been announced that he was re-upping. I believe Arizona or their booster group put out a graphic of a statue built of Noah Fafita saying he's running it back. But all it takes is a little whiff of a social media interaction to make me realize the best quarterback in the state of Arizona is still right there under our nose. Noah Fafita, skilled player, can throw the ball, guts, guile. What say you?
Experienced, had a great year. His dad was retweeting Malachi Tony content on the CanesInSight account. I am just saying. You heard it here first.
Sayings on your list?
Saying, listen, we'll get him and Jeremiah Smith package deal. Jeremiah Smith
our feed because we were talking about tampering with Kevin Jennings. Wow.
Coach Lashley, man, let me tell you something.
That's Indiana trying to get the game plan. What it is.
Catapult us into number 2, Fafita.
FBI raid, Gary Furman says.
All right, and number 1, there hasn't been a social media towel on this player. We've had some hearsay. He's actually appeared on a previous list. Do you circle back on a John Mateer?
Here's the thing on Mateer. I said this with Sorsby. All right, people think I am too caught up in cultural issues when it comes to picking quarterbacks. I just have a problem seeing a quarterback, whether it's Sorsby or John Mateer, that has a mounted buck above his fireplace coming to the Miami Hurricanes. Doesn't mean he's not a great quarterback. I would love a quarterback with a buck mounted over his fireplace. I want George Strait on the ox, okay? I want to be singing Troubadour. The problem is it's hard to get those guys to the University of Miami. I can't think, who have we gotten that fits that profile?
Yeah.
Sorsby and Mateer are like the same exact, I don't know them personally, but on paper, very similar. They're both from Denton, Texas. They both got, similar types of dudes the way they play. I don't know if that type of personality wants to come to Miami. They go to Texas Tech. They go to Oklahoma. Those schools pay up to keep those guys because they're trying to win championships too. The fit is a little tricky, but if the player, I love him.
I'm this close to accusing most of college football of racism.
For what?
Because
Tamper harder.
Why don't they?
Tamper harder. Those are my 2 words for you.
Tamper
harder.
Hey, look at me. You see this frosted? This is a good camera. You can probably see it. You see the frosted Adidas logo on here? You don't get this for not being one of the 12 teams in the playoff. I don't want to go back to that. I want frosted tipped Adidas gear. You see this logo right here? I want it to say 26, 27 next year on my travel gear. That's what I want. I don't want to go back.
Tamper harder from Pete. All right.
We do have Brooks Austin joining us momentarily. Brooks.
I was going to give him a little intro.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if is he in the waiting room?
He's right there, ready to rock and roll.
Go for it.
He's ready to rock and roll. So as we elevate to that national championship level, we had to elevate the guests. And this is one of my favorite accounts to watch, to learn from. He is very entertaining, obviously extremely informative, high energy. My guy right here, the film guy. I know you guys love him because you're always posting his stuff on CanesInSight. Brooks Austin. Look, how are we feeling?
I'm doing well. Look, D-Money, I'm familiar with your game, to be honest with you, but you're out here throwing hometown locations of Oklahoma Sooner quarterbacks that were formerly at Wazoo. You, sir, are a ball knower. You, sir, know ball. Oh, my Lord. My God.
Let me tell you about some shared ball knowledge, right? Do we pause for shared ball knowledge?
Yeah.
We might pause for that. Texas A&M. So we didn't know each other. We're meeting formally for the first time here, but we were at the Texas A&M game. I was on the field watching the Canes. You were doing all the great content that you do field level. And the Texas A&M DJ, who I personally like better than what we got going on down at the Rock. We'll talk about that later. But he played a little bit of a David Allen Co. And we were singing our lungs out there. Was that living right there? Kyle Field, 100,000 watching the playoffs with some David Allen Co blasting.
Kyle Field, 103,000 with like 35-mile-an-hour winds, but on a nice 65, 66-degree day. So like the wind wasn't cold. It was delightful, especially I would have liked some more points as an unbiased observer, but yeah, man, like I don't even remember that moment you're speaking of. That must have been one of them moments where you black out in the moment with the music and the vibes. So yeah, I was there with you. What a time though. Those people, I don't know how you felt, D-Money, a little too nice, like real nice, but like, I want some hostility with my college football. I want to walk up in 103,000 and be like, hey, yo, this place might come down today. I did not feel that way about them. I felt like they would shake my hand after I punched them in the face on the way out. It felt a little weird to me. I don't know about you.
Pete, I mean, we were chilling. They didn't bother us, but there was a kerfuffle involving our producer co-host.
I had an incident or two, bail bonds and things of that nature.
A college station kerfuffle
shouted in my direction. But
Brooks,
is what it is.
Brooks,
it comes
like
with territory.
Cole. They want to be super nice to you at the start, so you join. That's usually my experience at College Station, and I find the people quite lovely.
I thought, but with Pete, Brooks, you're a trench guy. You've been in the trenches. You probably heard some of the nastiest insults that there are. But Pete, your insult in response to the Texas A&M fan was innovative, I thought.
Well, yeah, that was actually a separate incident because, like I said, there were multiple incidents there. Yeah, I was walking up these very tightly compact spiral cases going up there, and an A&M fan told me, hey, you might want to tie your shoe before you get up there. I looked down and like I've told the story before, I told him, you know what? I think you should tie your female genitalia because my shoe was tied. My shoe was tied. But
all right. Well, as you know, Brooks Austin, we've positioned him as a ball knower film guy, and he does about as good a breakdown of video on the college game as anybody on social media. And he's been around this program for this run. A lot of lobby bars with Brooks over the last few weeks. So I appreciate his perspective here. You're crunching film. You've seen both these teams probably more than anybody in the media space. What is the early read on the tape telling you, Brooks?
Oh, I'm glad you lobbed this to me, and I see you got me in an ISO already. So if you boys will allow me, I will take you through the most interesting kind of matchup in between the weeds that I'm nerding out about. Comments already calling me a nerd. Let's ball out. Let's nerd it. Let's really, really nerd out right now. So I'm in the studio by myself. So forgive me. Just give me 1 second. I'm going to look like I disappear. I'll be right back.
Wow.
There it is.
All right.
Are we getting
So
like the
you
full
should be
production
able-
value?
Yeah, you basically are. You're going to get the whole
Come
thing.
on.
All right. So here we go. All right. So I heard you talking A-gap nonsense. All right, Mike Ryan. So you are a duo football team. That is the play that you are built off of. You run it out of pistol as well. You see Mark Fletcher line up directly behind Carson Beck in the shotgun. Okay. The priority in duo is to move people against their will, all right, based off double team, hence the word duo, all right? So we're going to take the 2 down linemen and run them into the Mike. We're going to take the nose tackle and we're going to run them into the Sam. We're going to take our tight end and our H-back and we're going to really create this crease off here in B-gap. But the reason it feels like it hits an A-gap all the time, Mike Ryan, is because y'all's offensive line is moving people and moving mass tremendously on a downward angle, right? On this 45-degree angle against their will, moving people, getting combos up to the second level. Mark Fletcher really being able to get downhill aggressively. Now, that's what you guys are doing against normal teams that don't create a lot of chaos, a lot of stunts, a lot of havoc, right, at the line of scrimmage. So I drew up what Indiana bases their entire system off of. And this is really the matchup within the matchup in this football game. If you're going to run the ball as successfully and as at will as you have throughout the entire season and throughout this playoff run, y'all got to handle this stuff, right? These same combination blocks that we had over here, let's get rid of this nonsense. These same combination blocks over here become a lot more difficult when we don't know where they're going. They're a big-time nut and ton stunt football team, meaning they're going to take their nose and wrap them underneath their tackle, take their tackle, wrap them underneath their nose. N-U-T-T-U-N, nut ton. Y'all gonna get a ton of nut stunts on Monday night. All right, so there's that. Now, this combination over here with these 2 tight ends, it becomes much more difficult when the end spikes across your face and the will arrives, right? Same thing on the backside. So all of this chaos, all right, on top of that, they let free roam Mike linebackers get to kind of float and never really get touched. Guys like Aiden Fisher, who have played a ton of football and have real natural feel. The other thing about them, you watch Indiana over and over on tape, guys, by the second and third quarter, they've kind of figured out what you've done or what you're trying to do. And they have very experienced football players that get feel, very similar to Keontae Scott on your defensive side of the football. Here's the good news. Ole Miss does a lot of this stuff in the run game, and you handled it, right? You ran right down their throat for about 7 yards a pop running duo. All right, bad news. I didn't feel like Miami pass protected all that well against Ole Miss. And they're a very similar pass rush concept. They are trying to throw 6 bodies at the line of scrimmage, rush 4 of them, drop 2 of them. You never really know who's coming. And they're all going to twist wrap stunt with a lot of twist and intensity. Okay, so that was my primary concern there when I turned the tape on. But, man, y'all handled the stunts. Y'all handled all the nonsense from Ole Miss. Can you do it again in the run game? Can Mark Fletcher still hammer it for 6-7 yards a pop?
Whew. Jeez.
I'm so fired up.
I think my eyebrows are singed off.
That was,
Wait, so we're not actually running A-gap? We're just pushing people.
It's called duo, and it lands in A gap. Yeah.
Yeah. We're just like that good at duo that it looks like an A gap because we're pushing it like the stunts and stuff that you mentioned. That's really tough when you're getting pushed off the line. This is a team that
we can't move, Mike. We can't move north and south. We can't move until we find that first level where they're at. So all that chaos, we've got to really kind of gain depth first, absorb it, and then move it. If we're on separate levels, they're just going to spike in between us. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
We're moving like blocks if we are. If we're on second levels, we'll get spiked.
So in your best expert opinion, given all the breakdown that you've done, now you've basically displayed for our audience in the world what these two teams do best when it comes to line of scrimmage, man on man, meaty man slapping some meat. How do you think it actually plays out, though? Because Indiana is a team that is known for their execution. So if they want to do what they do, no one's really been able to stop them. How and why can Miami stop them?
So I think Oregon actually ran the ball relatively well. They got put behind for turnover reasons. But when you look at the in a vacuum all 22 tape of the run game, they actually sustained relatively positive results. Why I think Miami's going to average 4 yards, 5 yards a clip like they need to in this game, all right, is because Mark Fletcher's 230 pounds. Like this was the thing that kind of took me back when I saw him in person for the first time in College Station. I've been watching him on tape, been watching him on TV all year long, but you don't feel it till you see it, till you walk up on it and you see them on level playing field, how massive Mark Fletcher is. Because on TV, you just see huge bodies. And then in person, you're like, in an isolated situation, like, damn, he's 6'2.5", 230 pounds, runs behind his pads, turns 2-yard contacts into 6-yard gains. That's how you maintain efficiency. That's all we're chasing in national title games like this. We're chasing efficiency. If you go back and listen to Shannon Dawson's media availability prior to the Fiesta Bowl, talked about Carson Beck's legs being added in the passing game to him, his willingness to like take the ball down and actually run for 3 or 4 yards, because it gets in what he calls manageable counts. I can live as a coordinator in 2nd and 5. I cannot in 2nd and 11. I can live as a coordinator in 3rd and 4. I cannot in 3rd and 9. Not consistently against a defense of this caliber.
Now, I got to ask you, Brooks, usually when men are discussing thick lowers, it might be at a place like Dolphin Mall with the boys, just kind of watching the surroundings. You, my friend, were talking about thick lowers on ESPN and, of course, on your channel with the Film Guy Network. I'm looking at the defensive ends for the Miami Hurricanes going against Indiana's offensive tackles. And it seems to me, with all the great things Indiana does, there might be a power advantage on the side of the Miami Hurricanes. How do you see that matchup?
So I listen to a lot of coaching seminars in the offseason because I'm a football nerd and I have nothing else to do. And Dan Lanning described this the best. Defensive coordinator's job when you're looking at an offensive line is to find the donkey. There might be 4 stallions up there. Your job's to find the one that isn't as good as the other 4 and then hunt the donkey for 4 quarters. To me, when I watch Indiana, there's a very clear donkey in pass protection. It's number 67. It's the right tackle. I would figure out every manageable way on automatic passing downs to make sure Ruben Bain and Messidor, they've been doing a great job throughout the playoff run of lining these guys up on the same side and then letting Lightfoot get the other edge and then letting 18 float around in the middle. They're doing a great job of taking their best threats and creating an automatic one-on-one. Because when I line Messidor up there and I line Ruben Bain out up there, yeah, I might slide 3 offensive linemen over there. That's fine. One of those freak shows is getting no help. So that's a real problem. We got to make sure it's the donkey. We got to make sure it's 67. When I watch them, I think he's very, very gettable.
All right, let's shift our attention to the passing attack for Indiana. Look, Becker has really caught on lately. He's getting separation deep downfield. He looks like an NFL player, and he'll be back for Indiana next year. But Surratt has a lot of NFL draft fanfare, and if I wanted to say what their bread and butter was, come and try and stop this, it's that back shoulder throw all day, Mendoza to Surratt. How is Miami's DBs equipped to stop this play? Because that's a lot of man-on-man strength, and they're always winning those individual battles.
Yeah, they run 25% RPOs, guys. So a quarter of their plays will be run-pass options, and it's not like we're an SEC podcast. We watch a ton of SEC football. It's not like Hugh Freeze RPO from 2014 where it's like we got to run on the inside and then we got 2 square ends on the front side, or we got to run on the inside and we're going to spray a bubble off of it. No, sir. This is like full passing concepts off of running concepts. They will match wide zone so the offensive line stays behind that 3-yard cushion for an extended period of time. And then they'll run like full on verts and like 10-yard out routes. They'll run switch releases. They'll do all kinds of stuff. So it makes playing the math really, really hard. You have to play 2 separate plays against Indiana. For me, if I were defending them, we would stick 3 over 2 all the time outside, and we would do what I call playing the box light, which I think Miami can do. I don't think like Miami fired Keontae Scott in a nickel pressure 12 times against Ole Miss. Don't need it. Don't need it this week. We need him dedicating to play 3 over 2 over Surratt and Baker because, like you mentioned, or Becker, like you mentioned, this is like a newfound thing for them. He started turning into this dominant threat about 7 weeks into the season because Surratt got hurt. Now they play them both together on the same side on a quarter of these plays that are RPO based. So that's the primary problem. Man-to-man I don't know if it's going to work despite how great Miami has covered. Guys, Oregon covered them relatively well. Go look at all those passes. There's not a lot of space. This is ball placement. This is winning at the catch point for wide receivers at Indiana right now. I feel like Miami's best bet is to stay in zone coverage, allow corners to be really, really aggressive in their trigger, trust what they're seeing, get downhill, rally to the football, and tackle.
I'll tell you what I love about your channel. Again, Film Guy Network. Check it out if you haven't already. It's obviously the X's and O's and the details and the technique, everything. But really, to me, it's the passion. You get juiced up about something. That's to me what I like about the channel the most. And I know a player on Miami that you've been passionate about, that you've been really getting behind, is Malachi Toney. And it's not on punt returns that you're pulling up. It's not the reverses or the end arounds or any of that stuff. It is him getting dirty as a blocker, attacking guys, not just catching guys or getting in the way, but attacking. What do you like as just a football fan about watching number 10 for Miami?
They do grown man stuff with him. He's like, I don't know what he's listed at, guys. I'm an in-person highway speed guy. He looks 5'10 and a half, 185 pounds. They play him like he's 6'5", 260. I mean, they will insert him. I just showed you a bunch of duo. They will insert him on linebackers with that stuff. They'll against Ole Miss, they're like, you know what? Let Toney block, and we'll throw a couple spit screens to the tight end. What? No, normally you give Toney the ball. No. We're setting Tone out on the edge right quick. We're going to let 10, literally setting Tone with Toney. We're going to let him get his face into people's face mask and let him set Tone. Like, that's the type of stuff that I really love. Like, yeah, everybody watches him as a playmaker. He's an elite playmaker. His contact balance is insane. He's never offset. Like, he's never off balance. You never can really strike him. His strike zone's really, really small as a ball carrier. We got to start protecting the ball a little bit better. But, buddy, if you make 7 guys miss every game and you fumble every once in a while, I'm okay with it. Like, it is what it is. And golly, great at the catch point too. Like, he's elite in all kind of categories. But for me, his football playerness, that's such not a word. His football playerness is off the freaking charts, man. It's off the charts. I love him. I love watching him play. I can't imagine how many times during off-season camp or during spring ball or whenever, how many times he got put up in front of the team meeting room and them saying, that's a 17-year-old kid. Why is he playing harder than everybody else? What's going on here, boys? And then that kind of stuff it's a ball rolling down a hill at that point.
Brooks, and for those that don't know and are just tuning in, Brooks Austin is unbelievable at film study, as you could probably attest to if you've watched this segment. I saw you tweet something to the effect of earlier this week, there are no wasted downs for Indiana. If we're counting on this team to not execute, that is not really a path to victory. Now, I wholeheartedly believe that Miami's best would beat Indiana's best, but Indiana is so good at getting teams to not play their best. Miami, midseason hiccup, fully capable of not playing their best game. Hell, they just won a Fiesta Bowl, not playing their best game. How do you think this plays out?
So we're doing predictions tonight, and honest to God, it's going to be a 1-point prediction for me, which is my way of telling you I have no effing idea. I will tell you this: if I were a gambler, and I'm not really, I would take the 9 points, and I feel like this is going to be a 17-14 or 17-14 going into the fourth quarter, 12 minutes left. Let's see who can win the football game. Like that type of ball game. because both of these teams are really, really comfortable being boring and methodical offensively. Both defenses are going to make you earn it. They're going to make you walk it down the field. Y'all's quarterback at Miami, almost to a fault early on in his career, because people don't know what they're talking about, he's willing to check the ball down. 14 play drives? Okay, baby, that's fine. I'll do this. Like, I'm fine. I am not going to press. I'm not going to feel I'm not going to feel like I have to play over aggressive. We want to trust the run game and play defense. Okay, that's the way to win today. Like, he is very comfortable doing that. I feel comfortable about the matchup. What really worries me is about this, what you're talking about. They drag games into execution games. That's what they want. It's so backwards for what normally college football teams that quote unquote don't have the talent do. Most college football teams that are out talented try to skew the numbers. They try to play really fast. They try to take 100 snaps today. They try to get as many cracks at as they can. It's no different than a basketball team that's undersized. They're going to shoot as many threes as they can. Same thing here with normal college football teams. Not what they do. If they take 50 snaps offensively, they played a great game. That's what they want to do. They want to play a slog. They want to play a game about 3rd and 2s. Y'all are comfortable doing that. So I feel good about the matchup. I don't know who I'm picking. I'll figure it out tonight. And like I said, I'll probably literally flip a coin. That's how I feel about it.
I have to ask you, because you covered the whole nation, but you're based in Georgia, right? So you're intimately familiar with the Georgia program and with this quarterback, Carson Beck, seeing his whole progression from Mandarin High School to where he is now. Just you watching him, and this could be as the film guy, this could be as Brooks Austin, this could be just however you want to take it. Just watching his progression and what he's doing now, kind of knowing how the whole thing played out and some of the things which, from what I understand, some of it's true, some of it's not true. I don't think anybody, whether it's Georgia or Carson Beck's, happy with how it's been presented in the media. But just from your standpoint, watching this whole thing unfold, what do you see when you see Carson Beck's story?
So look, I started as a writer. I still write. I'm not a narrative teller. That's not what I am. You asked me about the football player. I'll tell you about the football player. From day one, snap one, like even as a backup, the mechanics are what we call chicken and rice. You want to have a clean diet. You want to lose weight, eat the same thing every single day, eat some chicken and rice. You want to be an accurate quarterback. You want to be you want to know where you're throwing the football and put it where you want to. Have the same mechanics every single stroke. Go through every single play the same exact way. He does that. He has always talked the game at an extremely high rate. He has been that. The only two limitations about him physically I've ever worried about as a football player is his unwillingness to add into the run game. He's checked that off in spades down the stretch of this game or down the stretch of the season on the way to a national title appearance. And to be honest with you, I've never seen a play like he had. I think it was Marion Brown right before the half. Y'all are in empty. There's a switch release on the backside. Number 1 becomes number 2. He's running from the left to the right. Carson's rolling out of the pocket to his right. Number 6 presses him with pressure. He gets both feet in the ground and then throws a strike to Marion Brown for a touchdown in 2 minutes. That type of stuff, dude, a year ago, 2 years ago, he's just scrambling to his right, chunking it out of bounds, living to fight another day. That's progression in the athlete 5 years into it. That's the type of stuff that I didn't expect. I know he's going to play on time. I know he's going to play accurate. I know he's going to make good decisions. I could go through all 22 of his interceptions on film and probably excuse away about 15 of them. It sound like excuses, but they're football explanations. He's never really been a guy that I'm concerned about doing that. He does try a little too hard sometimes and put balls at risk and people at risk, but that's him competing with ball placement because he know he can do it.
Yeah, so it's safe to say at the next level, I think he's actually impressed people more down this stretch by showing less in terms of counting stats and showing that he can do what it takes to win. Some of his most important contributions, Brooks, have been just checking to run plays.
Yeah, the best analysis I've heard about the quarterback position in several years, I think it was Troy Aikman. He was talking about knowing when to drive the car, like knowing when to drive it hard. You don't always have to drive it hard as a quarterback. He knows when to drive the car, and I think that's really, really important. Early in his career, I felt like he needed to know that it would stick in the corner. Shout out Coach Trickle. I think he needed to know that. And now I think he knows that. Like, but he trusted a little bit. Like, you can ride it hard into turn 4. It's all right.
Well, Brooks, you're the man. Thank you so much for stopping by. D, you got one more for Brooks on the way out?
Just thank you. Appreciate you. Anyone that's not watching this channel, check it out immediately. Film Guy Network, whatever else you want to plug. I know you were working overtime, man. I see you with the camera. I see you on the camera. See you doing all these sort of things. So plug away, because if you're not watching this guy's stuff, you're missing out.
Yeah, man, the goal was to get to 100,000 subscribers by the Natty. I don't think we're going to make that, but hey, who knows? Maybe all 13,000 subscribers on this network will filter over and we'll filter them back. We'll just pass back and forth subscribers with some mutual affiliations here. But no, I don't need to plug anything. I do need to say this. My flight for South Florida leaves Friday morning, and I want to be baptized in Miami. Okay, that's what I want to. I want to be baptized in Miami. I am a caffeine fiend. I've never had real cafecito. So there's that. I need to have that. I need to be indoctrinated with what is South Florida. So whoever can baptize me, bring that on.
Brooks, we got you. You're going to be bathed in the neon red light of Alapata and Las Rosas. We got you, Brooks.
And we're both married men, so we know the thick lowers will be more just for observational purposes. So, but we'll take care of you, man. So anyways, can't wait to get you down here. It's going to be an awesome game. Appreciate you joining us.
Y'all be good, boys. We'll talk to y'all later.
That was some good stuff right there from Brooks Austin. I mean, we set him up as one of the best ball knowers film guys, and he got up and he showed us duo, explained the nut ton nut.
That was a chills moment. That was like when you saw Carson Beck running for that touchdown. You saw the C's part when he got up to get to that board. And you saw the board there. It was chills right there.
Fantastic. This game is a film nerd's paradise, honestly, because Indiana has made so many fans of people that know the game really well, just with their execution. And look, they got flash. This narrative that they're less talented, I get it. People do the blue chip counts. Notably, I think 8 blue chippers in all on their roster, which is exceptionally low for a team that finds himself here. But you look at that offense, I think you got like 4 NFL first rounders in the future when you have Mendoza, who's probably going to go 1-1. Surratt looks like a first round player. Their center is really good. I mean, you want to see a guy get off the line of scrimmage. He's going out and pulling from the center position and destroying guys. When do you ever see a center win Rose Bowl MVP? And Becker, I think with this late season surge that he's had, this isn't just like, you're going to have he reminds me a lot of Wes Welker, Danny Amendola. That's not what this guy does. He goes downfield. He is fast. He is a big target. He is a very dangerous player. I love this Indiana offense. I cannot wait for this styles clash.
Yeah, Becker's a stud. And I will say you just had the whole tangent. Like, we're not going to compare this guy to every random white guy. He's got juice. He's tall. He can make plays downfield.
Does play like Alec Pierce.
We're not going to do the white
Does play
guy
like
comparison.
Alec Pierce.
Alec Pierce
comparison.
Yeah, 100%.
100%. He plays like Alec Pierce. Alec Pierce had a 1,000-yard season with like 40 catches. When have you ever seen that? That stuff's insane, but that's what Becker does. The emergence. Miami was better through the injuries that they had to sustain. They even dropped a couple of results, Pete. When they had to face the adversity, it forced guys to come online. And some guys weren't ready for the moment. Some guys you're counting on right now. But even Corey Heatherman has spoken to this. We didn't have the depth at SMU. We lost because we weren't really rotating guys in. We didn't trust them. I didn't think Miami had the depth to be a national title team. Now they've come online fully there. And it's a testament to the coaching staff and development. I don't think that Mario Cristobal gets nearly enough credit for being a developer of talent.
Yeah, especially considering we have the 15th most talented roster in the country. I mean, he's overachieving. Everyone wants it. We can laugh all we want.
Royalties for pumping up that rating service that does that.
What happened?
Whoever 247 should send you royalties for pumping up that talent.
I mean, everyone wants to talk about Indiana overachieving. Miami's overachieving. Miami is not where they want to be in terms of talent acquisition just yet. I think they're trending towards it, but yeah, I look at the future of where this thing's going, and we want to win this thing without a doubt. But I'm excited to see once you get even more talent in here, because 15th most talent in the country between the portal and high school ranks. People can laugh. You guys can laugh at me, but that's what the numbers say. And Mario Cristobal has done a phenomenal job with less.
Love being an overachiever. How does it feel?
That's a narrative that's absent. You hear plenty with Indiana, but you don't hear it about Miami. Look, I don't think we can do a better game breakdown than that. So let's put that off to the side for now. CanesInSight has you and will continue to have you get pumped for the national title game. But there are some other storylines surrounding this program right now. One of them that I want to hit right now is what Ty Simpson said. Now, I'm sure you covered some of this, like you're on the air around the clock right now, but Ty Simpson really rubbed me the wrong way. Did he rub you the wrong way, or did he rub you just fine, D?
We talked about it on the earlier show, so I don't want to
right.
repeat my points, but you're hitting a topic that is close to my heart. I mean, look, the guy didn't do anything to talk about. He built something at Alabama. What did he build? I know he built Legos frequently, but in terms of actually building something at Alabama, what did he build? They were worse than they've ever been. I don't think it was his fault. I think the guy's a hell of a player. I wanted him for Miami. Like Sam Levitt, I did not want. Ty Simpson, I wanted. I just didn't think he'd come. But to say he couldn't like destroy what he had built at Alabama, he started 1 year. It was their worst year of all time. They got him hurt. What did he build? They didn't run the ball. They didn't protect the run or stop the run. They didn't protect him. Like they didn't do anything for him. He did everything, and ultimately it wasn't that much. So I don't know what you respect loyalty, respect all that, but keep it to yourself. Don't go saying this team offered me $6.5 million. Just say, listen, hey, it was a great process. Alabama is where I want to leave my legacy, and I'm going to go pro.
Yeah.
No one would have said anything, but the extra color, like you're leaving a dynasty that you built. Come on.
I'm 100% with you. You swing and miss. That's a talent acquisition game. And I didn't think it was possible, given the reputations of the two quarterbacks that we were entertaining most seriously, Sam Levitt and Ty Simpson, that I would be left with a worse taste in my mouth when it came to Ty Simpson, that he would act the more immaturely of the two. That was a bit of a surprise. Now, I get what he was trying to do. Look, I don't know how long your NFL career is going to be. They're Comic-Cons in Tuscaloosa, right? You want to open up a car dealership. You want to be looked at favorably. So the season didn't go exactly the way that we were hoping for down in Tuscaloosa, Alabama. So why don't you rah-rah pom-pom your way to more fanfare? I get it, especially when you're invoking Tennessee, who was also in hot pursuit. What I hated about what the young man did was putting the business out there about the numbers. Now, you'll see these things here and there. You'll see these social media tiles. We saw it with Carson Beck of what people say the offers are, right? He's the one putting Miami's number out there. You have to understand that has ramifications. We're talking about a marketplace. You know what happens when Ty Simpson decides to cross that threshold? Meanwhile, he doesn't have to worry about Miami talking about his negotiating tactics, right? Sam Levitt did some stuff that wasn't exactly on the up and up. Miami's not putting it out there. Miami has to continue dealing with agents and dealing with players, and Miami wants to have a reputation when they engage these talented individuals that is pristine. I know I can do business with Miami because they will not put my business out there. Young man, you made a decision. You wanted a cloud chase and probably made your life a little bit more difficult when it comes to what GMs have to ask about you, but whatever, you got the talent to be a first rounder. Your agent, that's going to be something Miami's going to think about the next time they have to deal with this, because that is bad ball. That really bothered me, D.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, the whole thing. I was just pulling it up to the CanesInSight portal thread. Got 7.8 million posts and counting. I think the portal situation plus the national championship game that Miami's playing on Monday.
It's a perfect storm.
Have this thing rolling up to maybe 8 million by the time the weekend's done. But first thing happens when we're talking, I pull up the thread to see what's new, because we've been online. Things change real fast. Any news, any tidbits? First thing I see on the latest page, Ethan Grunkmeyer signing with Virginia Tech officially, and people kind of being upset about the deal. Not where you want to be, getting ready to play a national championship when you're sweating Grunkmeyer.
No.
Officially signing his agreement.
No. Look, a lot of the last few days isn't exactly breaking the way that I thought. Circling back to the national title game, we got our shots up on Ty Simpson, and may we never think about him again. A lot has been made of Brock Schott going over to Indiana. This is a player that was with Miami all season long. Who could have seen this coming? Maybe some handicappers, but now he's in that building in Indiana, and we got to assume that Indiana knows a lot about Miami's playbook right now. Now, they're on the other side of the coin, D. Kirk Cignetti's former defensive coordinator, Corey Heatherman, Miami center last year, Zach Carpenter. He played for the Indiana Hoosiers and made the CFP.
Breaking news. Dante Moore not declaring for the NFL draft.
But Raiola did sign. That is the reports were that Dylan Raiola did
either
sign.
way, it's breaking news.
Big Ten. Yeah.
Yeah.
Big Ten, they sue.
Yeah.
They
Big
lose,
Ten,
but they sue.
They tend to do that. And probably right. You know, a lot has been made and a lot has been made of me putting it out there, feeding rumors. People have incorrectly said that I started the rumor that Indiana's been cheating. I did not start that. That's been going on all season long. You're just paying attention right now. A lot was made out of that first play interception because I put it through ChatGPT. What are the statistical odds of a team picking off the first or second pass in a game 4 times in a season? It's a once in a 93 season lifetime type of season, but that's Indiana football right now. But if you watch that first play of the game, did you notice Oregon has a wide receiver streaking wide open down the middle of the field for a touchdown, well behind the last line of defense? Dante Moore played like ass in that game. And look, there was a lot of turmoil with the coaching staff in Oregon. Some of these mistakes that they were making, you can maybe put on the fact that they have new running backs because they were hit by all sorts of injury bugs. And I know that there were a couple sloppy exchanges on RPOs where the running backs causing fumbles, bumping into Dante Moore. I was not at all impressed with Dante Moore. It is curious that he made the decision to stay, why Ty Simpson makes the decision to leave. If anything, Ty Simpson's looking at that. Another quarterback off the board. Probably an even better decision for Ty Simpson. Wish him well? Not really. Your thoughts on Dante Moore going back to Oregon with Dylan Raiola waiting behind him?
He did the right thing. I mean, he needs more experience. Simpson is insane. When we talked about him, but to go pro with 14 starts, look at the quarterbacks that are under 20 starts. They're terrible. People always say, what about the first round money? First round money is peanuts compared to what Brock Purdy makes, compared to what Dak Prescott makes, compared to what, name the quarterback that ended up signing a much bigger second contract that was not a first round pick. First round is fine. It's nice. Playing well in the NFL at quarterback is what gets you paid real money. And I think going pro under 20 starts, Dante Moore was right there at that number. The evidence shows you're significantly more likely to be either mediocre or bad.
Now the reports are, Pete, that he's returning to Oregon or that he's simply not
They're
turning pro.
saying he's returning to Oregon, but I know what Raiola said, but about sitting there if he returns, but
well, Raiola is a player. I understand that the Patrick Mahomes stuff is weird, but he can make the
you know what else would be weird? Not being in the playoffs next year.
Yeah.
that would be weird.
Yeah.
That would be really weird. That wouldn't be good.
Raiola is a pretty accurate passer, especially when you give him a clean pocket. Really good at the throws that present themselves most often in Shannon Dawson's pseudo air raid type of system. I would not have honestly been mad with Raiola being down here, but look, there are drawbacks in Miami's approach when it comes to the portal. They're kind of an all or nothing team, right? They had their plan A, they had their plan B, and there was a wide gulf between plan A and plan B. Raiola would have been nice. Look, if they approach this like LSU, which is basically like Lane, let me get everybody. Let me be nice with everybody. Yeah, I'll embarrass myself with Emon Williams, but I'll also follow you on a private plane to Knoxville to let you know I still love you. If Miami probably had a different approach, they'd be in a better spot with Dylan Raiola. I know that name, given the whole Patrick Mahomes thing, doesn't exactly excite the base when you're thinking of guys like Ty Simpson or Sam Levitt. But look where we are right now. The best name available is DJ Lagway. From a name recognition standpoint, notice DJ Lagway was not on my top 5 list. I know you still rate the player, though.
You know what, though? He had been totally off my list. But in the last day, lying on the show, we had a whole show where we had our show afternoon, we did a portal speculation show, pure speculation, really no info on the show. We were just speculating. One of my favorite shows ever.
Yeah. There's been a lot of speculation just on this one. Poor Kevin Jennings. I feel bad.
Yeah, Kevin Jennings. Check your phone. I'm not going to call from CanesInSight Studios. But I try to convince myself, half jokingly, about DJ Lagway. I think I've convinced myself. Get him in yoga. Get him swimming. Get him on, a diet that is going to lean him out. I know diet's very controversial on this show. Everybody's got an opinion. A diet that will lean him out. He's already lost 10 to 15 pounds.
He was at like 255?
He was heavy.
Yeah.
Was injured the whole offseason. Expected to be the savior. Tough situation. Lean out. Heal up. Not expected to be the savior. Chip on the shoulder. Everybody's doubted me. Now you got a good offensive line, good running game. You could throw the ball down the field. The arm is tremendous. The size is excellent. Number 1 overall pick in a couple of years. When you rehabilitate the player, I've convinced myself on this guy if he wants to be a Cane.
All
I don't
right.
want to sell him. I don't want to be like, hey, I don't want to beg him. But if he says, listen, guys, I see you need a quarterback. I think I could take you guys to the championship. Good eye contact, good firm handshake. I'm buying DJ Lagway.
Well,
all those things happen.
We're talking about handshakes right now. All right. So I don't necessarily think I have to delete tweets, but I would have to do a public hit on DJ Lagway. I'm not here for a reclamation project. I'm also not here to enter next season with what we have.
What were the last two? What were the last two? What were the last two? The last two were reclamation projects.
I don't believe so. I don't believe they were reclamation projects. What
elevation projects?
Yeah. Carson Beck had to, I guess, maybe repair a public image and maybe some skepticism about his shoulder injury. But you're talking about a 2-time national championship winner. I understand he was a backup at the time, but a guy that had won a lot of games in the SEC, and a guy that, if he was healthy, was considered entering that season. He was the odds-on favorite to be the number 1 overall pick. So I don't think that was a reclamation project. It was a reclamation project in terms of public opinion on the player, but he was more infamous than famous. Cam Ward, I don't think that was a
Ward was a whole build. You had to build that one from the ground up.
You had to build that guy up, but he was from Wazoo. Like DJ Lagway, what I'm trying to make the argument is I don't think this is faded 5-star territory. To me, there were bigger issues with DJ Lagway. Like, he seemed broken in the way that TV.
Rogerio Centeno says we sound desperate.
Yeah,
we are.
We do.
We're very desperate.
We're super. I don't know if I'm DJ Lagway desperate. He's going to have to commit himself to a plan. I'm also worried about his body. This is a guy that had 2 injuries, and he was having the type of injuries that you thought were a direct result of the original injury that he didn't address. And early word is he still wants to avoid surgery. And I don't know if he has a body discipline to actually come back naturally. I don't know about this one. There's a reason why he wasn't on my trademark list, D. I'm really skeptical. I'd like for him to go to a Baylor. But look, Baylor throws the ball a ton. There would be plenty of opportunity for him to get in a rhythm, build his name back up, and command 2-3 times as much as what I understand the market was for DJ Lagway. Now, the market is probably yesterday's price is not today's price when you're considering Miami's situation. But he seemed mentally broken, D, and that is bigger than just the physical stuff that you're talking about. We're talking about being able to identify a zone and work around it. We're talking about TVD level short circuiting here.
An anonymous Miami staffer told, I think, Brandon Marcello that Carson Beck, when he got here, was the most broken player he'd ever seen emotionally, physically, spiritually. Now you see him.
That's not mentally, though.
No,
all
not brokens.
You're talking about a dude that was emo, and I understand exactly what you're talking about. He knew the game. Like, I'm talking about being able to read a defense and execute. Like, this is my chief concern. I can work my way around the physical with DJ Lagway. I can. But there was some really scary tape out there of DJ Lagway, dude. We were at that Miami, Florida game. I was so thrilled anytime that dude was dropping back because I was daring him. I'm like, you don't have the guts. Because if you're throwing into that field of play, it's going back for 6. He was fresh off that game against LSU. We're talking about LSU, dude.
So he was playing behind an offensive line that was putrid. Now, I know PFF listed them as a top 5 offensive line before the season, listed them better than Miami before the season. DFF had them as crappy the whole time. So it was not a surprise for DFF to see that offensive line struggling and DJ Lagway to get beat up. But with this team, he'd have Jackson Campbell, who I heard is a freak of nature, really showing off since he's arrived on campus. We'll see how the rest of the offensive line finishes with the portal. We got good homegrown guys, great coaching, obviously. I think that's going to help him more than anything else. To see, hard to read the defense when you're getting crushed by Ruben Bay in the second you drop back. I think he's got a much better shot here. Some comments I want to get to. Mr. Works to You says, is Emory so bad we're considering DJ? Look, we want to get a quarterback that the coaches trust to throw the ball. If that's Emory and he's earned that trust in practice, he can throw the ball. I want everybody to succeed. I want everybody on the team to succeed.
I can provide color there.
I am a little concerned that Emory was not relied upon in the bowl when he had a chance to be throwing the ball more.
Yeah.
Your thoughts?
Yeah. Look, we've had this Emory debate going on 3 years now. In terms of what you said, I want a quarterback that has the trust of the staff. Shannon Dawson loves Emory. He does. And you could hear us go back and forth on all these other names. I guarantee you, entering this portal season, there were maybe 2 names that Dawson thought could execute his offensive game plan better than Emory. He really rates the player. And I understand we all have that performance in the Pop-Tart Bowl stick out in our mind. That was a big moment for the guy, and he didn't deliver. And I guess in retrospect, thankfully, because it really propelled Miami to be in this position and have Carson Beck. But you take you back to a freshman year where Emory Williams beats Clemson, makes some big time throws, makes some clutch plays in that game. Let me take you to Tallahassee, where the staff decides a true freshman, Emory Williams, wasn't a truly difficult decision, but Tyler Van Dyke had done a lot of big time numbers for Miami in that offense, and they decided to bench Tyler Van Dyke in favor of the true freshman, Emory Williams, and he goes up to Tallahassee, and in a game against an undefeated Florida State opponent in a big time rivalry, he makes a big time throw. Miami's still in that game. The ball is in Emory Williams' hand with an opportunity to get that big upset against the undefeated Florida State Seminoles, and he puts his body on the line. Now, I know from a moxie standpoint, the team rallies around him. He's a big rah-rah team guy. The teammates like him. I think he needs to play some ball. It'd be like an old European model, Pete. Let's loan him.
Loan him to East Carolina.
Loan him to a school. Let him get some time and see if he can come back here, because I do like some of the stuff between the years when it comes to Emory. I do like the way that he interacts with the guys, but I understand every fan that just can't quite shake that Pop-Tart Bowl. It wasn't like that wasn't the plan, right? They prepared Emory Williams for that moment. He wasn't sprung into action. That was scary. I get it.
Yeah, I gotta say, D's on fire today with some of these quotes, and it really worries me about the state of this QB search.
Well, here we got some. Let's get some comments here. I want to get to some comments. I don't like that things I say get into graphics immediately. Well, I like it from a production standpoint. It is sick.
I never expected ourselves to aggregate ourselves.
Yeah,
I'm a little worried though.
It's great.
I'm glad you didn't have the aggregation machine when I was talking about the quarterback vagina, the great quarterback vagina in the sky. But Big Bud Jones talking about Lagway or TVD come back for a year. Come on, man.
Not TVD.
Listen, we'll see. We'll see how this plays out.
TVD. Dude, that person paid $4.99 to put that up there to gaslight an entire audience.
Big Bud Jones.
If it were Raiola or Lagway, and it appears Raiola is signed and he's going to be at Oregon. So, and Big Ten is a whole another ball of wax there. But let's just say he hasn't signed. To me, it's easy. Raiola over Lagway.
My thing is, I don't understand like this sort of sentiment. From William De Silva says, you guys are pathetic. Develop the guys you recruited. We aren't like. I personally believe we need to go get someone, because the coaches have shown us the last 2 years they don't believe the guys that they have in the room are good enough, because they've gone out and gotten quarterbacks that have made a difference here. I just, how are we pathetic?
Yeah, to me, like if you're talking about a guy like DJ Lagway, and I can't believe we're here. I really can't. I'm a little disappointed.
Imagine if someone told you there'd be this was DJ Lagway talk national championship week.
This is bad. It's not. It's to compete. It's to compete with the guys in the room. And here's what I'll say. I just touted how much Shannon Dawson likes Emory Williams. You did a lot of breakdowns on Luke Nickel, right? I'm not so sure Emory wins that battle with the guys that are in that room. I actually would handicap it that Luke Nickel probably would be the guy.
Did you see the report? I did a show before this on the report, but Brandon Crawford from 247 basically came out and said that right now, even if Miami doesn't get a quarterback, they still might need to convince Emory to return. So
I think there's
a chance Emory's not even here.
Yeah.
If we don't land a quarterback.
There's something to that. And I understand, like, Emory's been kind of, from his perspective, you have to understand the young man's perspective. He's probably heard things like, remember how high this coaching staff was on Emory Williams? D-Money, you did a ton of shows telling the audience how much this staff loves Emory Williams. It's an awkward situation, right? It's why the Miami Hurricanes, if they had it their way, would not be in the playoffs right now and having to deal with this transfer portal. It is incredibly awkward. There was a tidbit from the Peach Bowl broadcast about how the announcement of Josh Hoover, and we mentioned these two schools approached a transfer portal announcements a totally different way. That affected the quarterback room. The starting quarterback's little brother is the backup quarterback, and he's over there genuinely pissed that they signed Josh Hoover. Now, Alberto Mendoza is an interesting conversation to be had. I guess that's a possibility. D, I know you like the Mendoza surname. We've had a couple of questions in the comments about Alberto Mendoza. However, there is momentum and a lot of news gaining traction that he's headed to other schools.
Yeah, I think Georgia Tech probably might be in there in the mix there. Indiana's pushing him out, so that's not a good sign. I remember in high school, he was great. He was better than his brother in high school. He can run. He's got a little more swag. He's not as much of a nerd. I love Alberto Mendoza. I think I wouldn't just say you're the starter, but if you're talking about bringing in someone to compete, I think there's a chance he can compete. I mean, his brother's the number one pick of the draft, and he's out there running for 60-yard runs in the Big Ten. It's not like he has no physical ability. He's not as big as his brother, but he's not small. I'm interested in it, but look at this from Dave Kidd. We talked about this. He said, can still get CJ Bailey. He hasn't signed. I was on his TikTok live when he said it. Now, it's one thing to not sign. It's another thing to tell everybody that you haven't signed. That's a weird thing to say. So I'll do the Windhorse thing, the Windhorse meme. I'm going to do a little higher so I can, I did biceps today. I want to kind of just show off the arms a little bit. Isn't it interesting? Isn't it interesting that he would not just not sign after announcing he's coming back, but he would actually announce that he hadn't signed? That's a little bit interesting to me to say, hey, I love NC State. I haven't signed. Why would you say that?
We've been friends for a little bit now, and there are some times that you just beat me into the ground and I tap out due to exhaustion. I'm there on CJ Bailey. Let this man, number 4 on the list. No, I've been there. I've never been like, I don't believe in this guy. But the same way that people are skeptical about Emory Williams, even though CJ Bailey is a different beast, right? We're talking about 6'6", big time arm, pro prospects, if he can get that delivery tightened up. I have difficulty, and I think some members of our staff also have difficulty in reconciling the idea of CJ Bailey, what we saw in high school, and the game that he had against Miami. If you're nervous about the Pop-Tart Bowl and Emory's performance, you have to apply the same logic when it comes to CJ Bailey. Now, Miami's defense made a Heisman finalist look pretty good.
Jeremiah Love had 33 yards. I'm taking him if he wants to come to Miami.
Yeah. No, and I was talking about Julian Sayin too.
Yeah, him too.
So that just might be a Miami's defense
Mason
thing.
Heinschel too.
I'm giving you the opportunity here to tout why we shouldn't look too much into that. The resume is pretty good for CJ Bailey, and he's a guy that's played a lot of football, and he's performed really, really well. Like when he upset Georgia Tech, that's a big time upset against a top 10 team, and he put that team on his back in that game. They ran the ball pretty well too. I'd love to see him down here, no doubt, especially now given the way that things are breaking. 19
years old, 20 plus starts. He's already in your conference. He already has a top 15 QBR in the country as a 19-year-old. He's a 70% passer. He's 6'6". He's getting stronger. He can run already. Every week he gets better. Every year, if you just watch his highlights and watch his games, his stats, he has improved in leaps and bounds year to year to year, like a Fernando Mendoza, who's another 6'5" local quarterback. The character, from everything I heard, is outstanding. I mean, guys, why are we scraping the bottom of the barrel here? I don't understand.
Go to the cream of the crop.
To me, I think he could be the cream of the crop. He's at least, it's a healthy meal in the grocery store.
Yeah.
You're not going to starve, and you're not going to get sick with the CJ Bailey.
Here's what I'll give you at the start of this. And I know you want to get to a super chat.
Yeah.
CJ Bailey was one of those names that we reached pretty much consensus here. I think that if you tell me you get CJ Bailey and you don't have to sweat it, give me CJ Bailey. And I think we all agreed there. Now, if that's what's at the end of this particular rainbow, that is been a long and winding road for just a couple of days, that would be manna from heaven.
And look, Patrick Aveo's asking, we have NIL flush with cash. We're in the national championship game. Our last quarterback went number 1 in the draft. Beck's resurrected his career. He's going to go to the championship game. Teams are lapping us and signing their second string quarterbacks. How'd it get this bad?
LSU got 3. LSU got 3 quarterbacks I'd like.
I will say this. We've been the number 1 transfer portal quarterback school for the last 2 years. So it's not like this is happening to us a lot. We've won the market last year with Beck. We won it the year before with Cam Ward. So we've been number 1 in this. And those processes were not straight lines. There were moments like this. The group chats were on fire. We've talked about Pete surveilling Poffenbarger at Sports Grill.
He's still in play.
We all shared Poffenbarger highlights and tried to imagine what it would look like with better pass protection. We were all guilty of that.
Mm-hmm.
We were, in fact, at one point trying to package the Poffs with Sailor Poffenbarger to help out Kate Meyer at the time and the women's basketball. Oh, shout out to both hoops teams playing some great basketball.
Yo, Jay Lucas. My God, pal.
It's his era, baby. The Jay Lucas era. I hope we can hold on to him for more than a year.
Rank the Canes. Sorry about that.
Wait, where do you think who's going to take him?
No, that's a fear. I have this fear for sure.
I just think he's that good, man.
He's killing it.
I mean, can't we be a legit program?
Kentucky's Mark Pope is really struggling. They make
Mark Pope.
Yeah,
I don't like Mark Pope.
Well, come on, man.
PTSD.
He's a good kid. He's a good kid. It didn't work out for him.
Yeah, no, he's never disrespected you, or maybe he has. Who knows? We're not on social media like that.
Yeah. You want to talk about scrubbing the internet? D Money, I'm sure, had some Mark Pope takes.
I wasn't that bad on Pope. I wasn't that bad.
I don't remember him being that bad on Pope.
I was real pro Elijah Moore. He was like the classic, like South Florida 3-star guy. I mean, I thought Pope would be good. I never didn't think Pope would be bad. I definitely thought he'd be good.
Where did he end his career? UMass.
Yeah. Then he was playing in Europe.
You want to hear a bad one? You can search my social media. I'm pretty sure I have a Jeff Thomas for Heisman hashtag somewhere.
I mean, look, you probably said it about Ward at one point too.
I don't even get that. I don't even understand this bit.
It's not a bit.
I don't.
He's avant-garde, man.
Yeah.
You cannot put him in a box. You can't expect where he's going to go.
He's provocative. Gets the people going.
But not even where you expect. He picks battles that you don't expect.
Yeah.
He fights
We're getting some
Austin
Novosad shouts here on the comments from Oregon.
There it is. Go look at Novosad.
Novosad.
Milan Baby says, maybe CJB didn't sign because of it. Maybe coach told him to hold off the signature.
I know people are looking for a big conspiracy here on CJ Bailey. And I've had to explain this to D Money. There have been other targets. Like his name is not coming up as much as D Money would certainly hope. D Money's the guy bringing
of it.
There is someone bringing up the name to the staff, and I am pretty sure it's D Money.
I get the reality of it.
No, but like I had to have, like, you guys don't understand. I had to have like a heart to heart. I'm like, D, I don't know if they rate him like you do.
Look, they can rate whoever they want. I mean, some of their ratings are accepting Heisman trophies and going first overall. Maybe that rating was different than what we had on the player that is going to be the number 1 overall pick. Perhaps. I don't know. I don't know how they rated him. Obviously didn't rate him high enough, although I'm happy with the guy that we got.
I honestly hope this ends with us on a rooftop in Charlotte, toasting our first ACC championship, having manifested CJ Bailey to the U, and thanking D Money and everybody owing D Money a debt of gratitude because he's trying to save this program right now with CJ Bailey and has been for months on end.
All I'll say is this, Mike. When this portal thing started, we had the list of the targets. I went through hometown. I went through background.
Dude,
I went through musical listening.
The montage is going to be sick.
Sitcom preferences.
Sick montage that CanesInSight is going to produce when he does actually help us win an Addy.
But before this all started, did not go through the breakdown of all these players. And I said, he's going to pick elsewhere. 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 Let's go right here. Skip all these steps. But we had to go the hard way, hitting our head on each step of the ladder before getting to where we had to be. So we'll see how it all plays out. I don't want to be saying I told you so in a negative way. I want to be saying I told you so from Charlotte wearing a number 11 jersey that's become a hallowed number with the Canes.
He's had a lot of talent leave that place since the announcement hit that he was re-upping. It's going to be harder for CJ Bailey to succeed in Raleigh next season. So yeah, absolutely. He was in that crop of names that we would have taken. I can't believe that that we're here. still want to take Tiger though. Like, can we get Tiger too? I like Tiger as a little project.
Yeah, I mean the LSU's doing it.
Yeah, LSU's doing it with 3.
We have Darion Coleman. We have maybe Luke Nichols sticks around. I hope he does.
Yeah. Hopefully Emory Williams hasn't blocked our numbers.
Green Trail American asking the lick in January 19th. Stay tuned.
Stay tuned.
Yeah, stay tuned for the details.
Stay tuned for the details. That broccoli, I've been thinking about it, Pete. I've been thinking about that. That's the only bad thing about this run. We've been on the road. Football wise, it's been outstanding.
You know how Mario said we've been on the road. You know, he's like, we've been literally just grinding for this opportunity. This is the holy grail, the licking.
That's it, baby. We're back January 19th at the Lickin'. We spoke it into existence.
Yeah.
Fried broccoli.
Yeah.
Shout out to Taylene. Shout out to the whole crew out there. Chef Mello, the whole crew.
Also, if you
Coach Mello, I should say.
Coach Mello.
Leave plenty of room to get to the tailgate.
Chef Bridget.
If you're headed to the game, the news came down today that Marco Rubio and President Trump are going to be in attendance at the national championship game. There was already all sorts of online conjecture about who would be allowed to enter the parking. Now, in retrospect, I kind of imagine a lot of that was prefacing what was to come later today, but it's going to be an absolute zoo. And it's not like I have to tell Miami fans to get to the tailgate early, right? 2 forms of identification and a ticket to the game probably gets you in. It's going to be a circus.
It's like remember that R. Kelly sketch on Chappelle where he'd only believe it if he had 2 forms of ID, and then R. Kelly's mom saying that's just like Robert pissing on everybody. Yeah, that was the only way he'd ID him. Yeah. It's gonna be like that to get into this parking lot.
But by the way, a good question here from Kyle, and we haven't confirmed it yet, but I think he might be there. Tank Jones might actually show up at the Licking as well for his the 6th trip to Miami. See if we can get that flip done. D.
He could have been already on the team. He could have been there on the way to play in the game, or at least to wear a uniform on the way to the game. But he went to Eugene, unfortunately. Hope we'll get him back in the portal. Now up to G Appreciative Sports is Adrian Body, HBCU, 20 touchdowns, 1 INT, lit up your boy Trent Dilfer at UAB.
My boy.
It's interesting. It's
interesting. I don't like Trent Dilfer.
I do like Trent. I feel like you've made comments on him. I didn't know the backstory.
No.
What's the deal? Can you share that?
Yeah, it was at ESPN heard stuff. Yeah, I think you could take a look at him. You know, a lot is there's this cliche: you can't judge a book by its cover. Sometimes you can.
Oh yeah. I'm a big fan of judging books by their cover. Yeah, you got a 90% of it. You know what I've realized about judging books by their cover? You know who judges books by their cover the most? Old people. Old people love judging books by their cover. You show up there not dressed a certain way, they're on to you.
Yeah.
They've been around.
Wow.
They've seen a lot of books. They've read a lot of books.
Speaking of, we may have to revisit the way that Colin Cowherd was about quarterbacks with backwards cap, right? You've been about tattooed quarterbacks.
Yeah. Tattooed white quarterbacks.
Tattooed white quarterbacks, to be specific. And Carson Beck has this team through leadership, guts, guile, and smarts as a tatted up white quarterback. D. A lot is hinging on this national title game.
No, he's proven it to this point. The cover was not accurate in this case. So shout out to Carson Beck.
And tattoos.
Tatted
up white guys.
You got white guys wearing those old Charlotte Hornet throwback jerseys, smiling right now because they're not going to be stereotyped anymore. Shout out to Carson Beck.
Yeah. Mike, let me tell you something. Your list is it's making the waves, man. I'm getting messages in the Discord if I feel good about any of your 5 options on the list. I just got that message right now. I don't know how to answer it. I really don't know how to answer it.
Honestly, out of that list, we had the Bailey discussion. The tape that excites me the most, and I'm going to sound like a loser about this, but you guys were on it with Group Chat Sports, and I know this is pie in the sky, high end. You broke down this kid from Ferris State, and you're like, wow, this kid is dynamite. And he turned out to be Trinidad Chambliss. Now, I know that everybody wants to, when you draft a low-round quarterback, everyone's like, this guy could be Tom Brady. It's unfair to these kids. But South Florida ball knowers are familiar with this guy. He has a reputation. He's been on the 7-on-7 scene. Like, he's a gamer, and he proved it, I think, at that level. And maybe, look, even if you get another name, I am certainly aboard getting Tiger in that quarterback room, letting him grow, letting him compete, because I'm I do genuinely think there's something there with this player. I think the tape's pretty dynamite.
And by the way, let's not forget, Darion Coleman is on campus.
Mm-hmm.
You know, maybe he's that guy.
Yeah.
Maybe he's that guy. By like 22 grams. I'm glad you called this out. Mike looks 6 inches taller than D today with the old chair height trick. It is the chair height trick. Now, Mike is taller than me. I'm a solid 5'10". I'm average.
Did you see me
in ancient Rome? I'd be like slapping people around.
Yo, did you see me standing next to Gino Torretta today?
Oh, you sized him up?
I'm taller than Gino Torretta.
There you
crazy.
go.
Crazy.
There you
We're
go.
talking, that guy played
How's your arm?
quarterback. You know, I could have done some work.
Kevin Dennis.
Intermediate stuff. Real, like, you know how Carson Beck audibles into running plays? That'd be me all the time. Not wanting to get. See, I played a very little bit of football. I did like one spring. And here's the thing about football. It hurts. Like, man, they stuck me at tight end and like ghost, and I was just getting crushed. I was pretty wiry. I did not have the frame for it.
Did you have the ponytail?
It destroyed me. We played in a spring game and I just got like flattened. And I was like the only guy on the line. I was there with like a bunch of like 8th graders. I'm like, what is happening? I just got like destroyed.
Did you
like
have the
Braun
ponytail
break.
at the time?
Like I had the hair flip coming out and a neck roll. Yeah, it was like Braun Breaker just like speared me in half. Like it was,
man, it's just
bad.
shout out.
Yeah, I also got
to
hit in the
Mad Dog.
I also got hit in the balls during that game. It was just like it was bad. I still have like a weird elbow from a collision that I took in that game. So shout out to anybody that plays the game. It's hard.
It does hurt.
It hurts. Hey, you want to talk about wrestling?
Wait, hold on. Kevin Dennis asking, what recruits that we missed out on would we have if signing day was February? I don't know. I mean, I'm thinking more in terms of like the next group of guys we're going to be able to get. Like the 2027 class is going to be outstanding because those guys saw us make this whole run and do what we do. So that's going to be a very productive class. But yes, I do want to talk about wrestling. 3,000 on hour 16-minute mark.
Boy, they're going to be disappointed right now.
This has been a great show, by the way. Before we get to wrestling, there's a piece of news we got to acquire as part of the show. Ghost and Von Donaldson has been all over it. Is DJ Volume going to be the DJ for the national championship game?
No, it's a neutral site game.
But he's the Hard Rock DJ. I don't think he's the Kane DJ.
I don't think so. But like the CFP handles this, and I think it's going to replicate what you've seen at the Cotton Bowl and the Fiesta Bowl. Now, to be fair, I'm not fairly familiar with those venues, and I don't know if they use like the regular voices and in arena entertainers. But I'd anticipate a whole new experience, voices and presenters in game that you're not familiar with, because this is a whole new thing. It is a true neutral site game. I gotta imagine it's gonna be plenty weird for Miami to be in a visitor's locker room in this game. Pretty awkward. Don't you think like Indiana should have just been like, all right, you wear the home, you're the home team. This is stupid.
Well, it depends which one they bugged. We'll get to the bottom of it. Ghost and Von Donaldson.
Like the whole Indiana, what? This team that got good all of a sudden that we can't explain?
Mike, stop it.
in the Big
Let's
Ten?
stop it. Let's stop it, Mike.
No,
why are we putting the excuse out there? It's a loser mentality. We're sounding like
putting an
Marcus
excuse out
Freeman.
there.
We're trying to
We're
put a stop
sounding
to
like
it.
Marcus Freeman, the clown,
Not putting
the
it-
loser clown. I don't want to sound like that.
Right. Well, then you'll be happy to know there is so much hearsay and conjecture that I can pretty solidly promise you that Miami's going to go about their game plan, even if they knew this wasn't a thing, as if it were true. Hell, let's not forget.
That's the Mario way,
Yeah.
and that's why we have to
Counterintelligence.
appreciate it. Yeah.
Secret Service background. We had Brock Schott on our team. He was here a couple of months ago. I said hello to him. No, like this is a whole new thing. Different play calls, the whole thing.
Lisa Snow says Indiana will hack into the DJ booth. I hope they do. I hope
Ooh, Cougar Mellencamp. Let's go.
You know what? Actually, I'm not a big Mellencamp guy. You're like Mellencamp?
I like sucking on a
I
chili
know
dog.
about Velkamp.
Yeah, Velcamp.
Caden Velkamp. Yo, I heard
He
you
can
say
bogey,
Velkamp.
man. Velkamp can that
I watched that
thing's
bowl game.
jumping off his hand, man.
I watched that bowl game that he played for Western Kentucky. I was like, who is this guy? He's big. He's tall. Probably looks good in shorts. The interception numbers, very scary.
Let Coach Dawson work with him, man.
He can spin that pill.
Coach Dawson can turn. He's already turned one turnover prone QB into the number one pick of the draft.
Mm-hmm. Again with this?
I mean, that's just what it was.
When Gino walked into the studio, he's like, "Hey, Warren Moon." I'm like, Gino, Gino.
All right, let's talk a little bit. You want to start with the wrestling or the music? Where we're at here? Where are we starting with?
Let's do wrestling.
Let's start with the wrestling here. So I'll get started here on my wrestler of the week. And, you know, what comes to mind is the unstoppable force and the immovable object, right? Indiana's offense has been tearing through the playoffs. RPO, Mendoza, the receivers, they have been on a tear through these college football playoffs, tearing up various defenses. They are an unstoppable force. Immovable object, we're talking about the University of Miami defense. That has been the immovable object in these playoffs. So who coined that term? And it is the great Gorilla Monsoon. And you know, what's interesting about Gorilla Monsoon here is there you see him in his heyday. I remember him not as a wrestler because we are born in 85. I remember him as always the straight man on the broadcast. He was always the voice of reason. He was wearing the suit. Sometimes he would be in official capacity. He always seemed very legit. I never stopped and thought that his name was Gorilla Monsoon and that he was giant. He just seemed like a suit, like a normal announcer, like a Josh Appel, if you will. You know?
Also surprised you with his size.
Yeah, he's also pretty big. But I never realized that the guy's name was Gorilla Monsoon and he was a giant. I just took it for granted. All right. Maybe it's Italian name. I think he is actually Italian, old Gorilla Monsoon.
He certainly looked Italian.
But never really.
I'm part Italian. I can do that.
Never appreciated it. But he was an awesome announcer. Great wrestler. I've learned as I've gotten older. He was actually, I believe, Kanye West's first rap, his first line, or at least his first line that I remember was Gorilla Monsoon rap for all the people in the back or something like that. So unbelievable name, unbelievable gravitas, a wordsmith. And he had, I believe maybe it was like Winston Churchill or something. And I don't know, but I believe he is the inventor of that phrase, the unstoppable force and the immovable object.
Great chemistry with Jesse Ventura and Bobby Heenan. And I believe succeeded Jack Tunney.
Yep.
As on-camera authority figure.
Yep.
And was pretty good in the role. Gorilla Monsoon, he's one of those guys that if you heard his voice, you might recognize him more than just his appearance. Gorilla Monsoon, truly a gem.
Yeah, big fan of his. So who is your wrestler of the week here?
Lawrence Taylor, the Pro Football Hall of Fame pass rush extraordinaire. Lawrence Taylor main evented a WrestleMania. Let me say that again. Lawrence Taylor main evented a WrestleMania against Bam Bam Bigelow. The feud was great, and the match was red hot. It delivered. I went back and watched this match. The crowd is hot for LT and Bam Bam. I think up until this point, it was probably the best integration of an athlete in a wrestling match. Now, since then, we've had a lot of great examples. One that I always go back to that I think was wonderful was Floyd Mayweather. I love that Floyd Mayweather Big Show build-up there. But LT was such a needle mover, and this was at a time where the WWF had kind of dipped, that they had turned to LT to move some units, and move some units he did. Bam Bam, by the way, he will be a future wrestler of the week for me, because you want to talk about a guy that was ahead of his time. The stuff that he did in ECW was unbelievable, too.
Throwing people in the crowd.
Yeah, throwing people in the crowd, like just believable, badass, scary type of dude. Can play a great heel. Shout out to the movie Dennis the Menace. He showed up in that. Bam Bam Bigelow.
Major Payne, he was in there too. Damon Wayans beats him up.
This match was actually like a nice testament to what a great worker Bam Bam Bigelow was, because you needed a heel to make this work that was capable of making Lawrence Taylor look good, and Bam Bam Bigelow was certainly that. So shout out Bam Bam. We'll talk about him more extensively another day. But also, I just got back from my highlight draft. That was yesterday. Lawrence Taylor, I recently learned, former owner of one of our teams, but still forever a Battle Court luminary. We thank you very much, and very nice to people. Someone might say too nice at times, but Lawrence Taylor, what you did in the squared circle piqued my interest as a little kid, and I went back and I watched that match. It's pretty damn good.
Let me say with Lawrence Taylor, by the way, that match was good. That was like I won't say it was the peak of my fandom, but like I can remember that WrestleMania main event being the one I was most interested in. For some reason, it was just like the unexpected. You never had a celebrity actually wrestle a competitive match at that time. Now you see Bad Bunny and some others done it. Logan Paul, McAfee, those guys. But at that time, that was unusual, and he did great. It was very believable because he's big. He was very serious, is what I noticed. Like he wasn't like playing it for laughs. Like he looked like he was ready to go to war. Also, phenomenal actor in Any Given Sunday. Probably the best actor in the movie. I'm serious. Like, go watch that movie. He was a better actor than Pacino. Way more believable. Like when he, not just the football part, but when he was partying, when he was in the sauna. I mean, he was like, he deserves some props for that role. A lot of emotion in that role for Lawrence Taylor, trying to get that last incentive despite the concussions. So great actor, great outside linebacker, nice guy, highlight owner, of course, WrestleMania main eventer. I mean, I don't have his rap sheet in front of me, so I don't know what we're excusing.
It's pretty bad.
But I think we could probably excuse a lot. He did a lot.
Yeah, I mean, well, some of the stuff people have overlooked at, some of the highest positions in the country.
I'm thinking more OJ running for 2,000 yards in a 14-game season, and you let some stuff slide. Because it's hard to do. We saw Saquon Barkley with 16 games, and we still celebrating him. OJ did it in 14.
And the way he moved out there, I mean, I don't think there's anyone that's ever been as graceful as him.
His
big
size,
OJ guy.
are you kidding me? He was 6'2", fellas. You see how big his head is when he got older? That guy was a giant. He was out there running by defenses.
That's a good shout on the Any Given Sunday. I think I'm going to watch that movie tonight.
Guys,
watch Lawrence Taylor.
Shout out to DJ the third here. He says, if anybody thinks Dawson turned Cam into anything, they're drunk. It's the reason we keep hitting the portal for a QB. He doesn't recruit or develop. Let's just hope he doesn't need Beck to tell him to run the ball. Hey, listen. Cam Ward was a late round to undrafted pick before he came to Miami. He was 12-13 in his career. He had fumbling issues, turned the ball over. Something changed in that 1 year at Miami. I don't know what it was. He has a lot of talent, but Shannon Dawson and Mario Cristobal deserve a lot of credit for what happened. He wouldn't have come to Miami. He wouldn't have come back to school if he was ready to go be a pro.
Bingo.
Thank you, DJ the third.
I'm happy with the Shannon Dawson era is what I'll say. We usually around January 14th are either looking for an offense coordinator or like breaking down other offenses like Arkansas film, to see how it's going to look and making those stories on CanesInSight.com, 7.8 million posts and counting. Shout out to Lance Roffers. So this era of offensive coordinator with the best offense we've ever seen last year and now here in the national championship game, I enjoy this era of offensive coordinator more. I am enjoying the Shannon Dawson era, so I'm not going to nitpick. Quarterbacks, we may disagree on stuff. Obviously, he knows more about the position than he forgot more than I'll know, but don't always agree with things he sees with these players. But I can tell you this. I like the Shannon Dawson era. Feels good. You see the shine.
It's not quite the Jay Lucas. It's not quite the Jay Lucas era, but the Shannon Dawson era ain't half bad.
We're playing for a natty on Monday night, and probably so. Crazy. Can you imagine we're here? A little part of me was hoping against hope, that after that really sad Sunday morning show that we had after my Allegiant charter flight.
I'm sorry. This is bad. I'm getting DMs from agents representing big time receivers asking me if I'm hearing anything about the QB. I mean, this is a bad situation right now.
Just leave them on red for now.
Tell them we got a good one coming.
Yeah. Tell them everything's okay. All part of the plan.
Sit tight.
Pete, lie to them.
Yeah. Lie.
Do
it all the time. It feels good.
Mm-hmm. Shout out to lies.
Oh, big fan of lies.
All right. Music.
Let's so for me, I'm going with my man David Ruffin, former lead singer of the Temptations. You may remember him. Remember the guy Leon from Cool Runnings? That was in the Madonna video too.
No, which one was
the main
Leon?
Guy from Cool Runnings.
Oh, the dude from New York Undercover?
No, that's Yul Brynner. The other guy, the main guy.
No, New York Undercover.
No, man, the Cool Runnings, the guy who was in the Madonna Like a Prayer video. He's the one that's hooking up with Madonna in the Like a Prayer video.
Okay. Hang on.
Yeah, Leon.
Yeah.
There he is, that guy.
All right, that guy. That was, yeah.
So he played David Ruffin in the Temptations movie. Great movie. Great. I'm a fan of what he did with the Temptations, but it was very polished.
I wasn't talking about Yul Brynner.
I really like what David Ruffin did outside of the Temptations. His solo work, outstanding. It's been sampled a ton. You see Wiz Khalifa on that Cushion OJ album cover was actually using one of his album covers. A lot of Kanye sampled it, Ghostface Killah. This one right here, I'm going with Statue of a Fool by David Ruffin, sampled by Ghostface Killah. Just the vibe of it is outstanding. It's such an uplifting vibe. The lyrics are more downbeat, but the vibe is just heavenly, which is how I'm feeling right now. Go to the Statue of a Fool. That's us for the last 23 years, expecting this thing to go. But now, who's looking foolish? We're getting ready to play in a national championship game. Shout out to David Ruffin. Download this song. It's in the CanesInSight podcast, or sorry, the CanesInSight playlist, which you can get on iTunes, Apple Music, whatever, Spotify. Check it out. Great song. Love it. Feeling those vibes right now.
Right. So I like that you picked a song that reflected your vibe. And in turn, I picked an emo song because I'm out here breaking down Western Carolina quarterbacks. We're here. I'm going with Saves the Day, a song called At Your Funeral. That was a modest hit on like MTV too, back when I was in high school. First concert I ever saw was Weezer. And opening for them was Saves the Day. And At Your Funeral is my favorite Saves the Day song. And it is so cool because today, the bar I'm a partner in, Las Rosas, has announced a special Saves the Day show on Wednesday. Next Wednesday, Saves the Day is going to be playing at Las Rosas. There's a whole bunch of cool bands in town for the Emos Not Dead cruise. And as part of that, some of these bands are playing some great little venues across town. Las Rosas, one of the better venues to watch a live band. I mean, incredible sound system, incredible light system. Saves the Day will be playing at Las Rosas, and that'll be a really cool full circle moment for me because the very first band I ever saw live at a ticketed concert that wasn't the Ninja Turtles, the Rock and Review, was Saves the Day. And it's really cool that they are playing a bar that I'm a part of now. So check out At Your Funeral, one of the great emo anthems of that great emo era.
That's awesome, man. And look, Las Rosas, which you developed into an incredible bar. Shout out to the champ, Adrian Domino. Saw him on your show, showing off the guns. He's always showing. I've never seen him not showing off the guns. Have you?
Domino.
That guy's never worn a sleeve in his life.
No.
But that, yeah, so that's pretty awesome. Las Rosas, if you've not been there, check it out. It is the spot to be. Might maybe have a national championship celebration at Las Rosas. Although I got to say, a cruise for emo, I wouldn't want to necessarily cruise with emo people.
Well, I think that sounds like an awesome cruise. I understand because you're all fixated on the tan, but from vibes,
yeah, is that the vibes you want on a cruise?
No, I think they're all positive people, despite what the brand suggests.
I might turn emo depending on how this QB situation turns out.
Yeah.
He's gonna be wearing eyeliner to the next show.
By the way, like I see people like, oh, I want to have my bachelor party there. I have a cousin that wants to do his bachelor party at Las Rosas. Guys, it's there's no cover. Now, this will be a ticketed event because Saves the Day is a band of repute, but Las Rosas is welcoming to any and all. We make sure of that. That's kind of what we do. And it's a mighty big venue, multiple rooms, outside patio. On the weekends, we got food vendors over there. So check it out. Really excited about this weekend. Got some friends in town eager to show off the place. So it should be fun.
Should be a real fun weekend and a real fun Monday. We'll be doing a ton of shows. I got 2 interviews in the can that you guys are going to love.
Yeah. You want to tip a hand? Why not? We got a big audience here. We want to incentivize people to subscribe and be the first to know when these other shows are going live. So
you know what? That's called Media 101 from the man right here, the vet. I'll say this. We got Landon Tangwell in the can. We just recorded that one today earlier. He is outstanding. Talk about Brooks Austin, great ball knower. This guy cut from the same cloth. And then tonight, we're going to debut the man, Josh Pate, CIS. Great interview. Shout out to what he's doing, taking over ESPN.
Yeah.
I mean, we got college football in the promise. We got the Canes in the promised land. We got college football taking over ESPN, not on the Ocho, on the real deal. And CIS, baby. We're right front and center.
So like and subscribe. It costs you nothing and it helps us out. As Josh Pate likes to often say, a lot of people that take in this content on a routine basis don't even know that they're not subscribed. So it's not that hard. Please, it'll help us out as we grow all these properties. And once again, shout out to Brooks Austin, who's doing incredible work there. If you follow us, go follow him. If you're just tuning in right now on the live, scroll back a little and watch his video breakdown. As good a breakdown as I've seen when it comes to these two teams, ball knower.
But I have to say it because the comments are repeating it, and I want to make sure it's said. Your work this day, tearing up the opponents of this program.
It's a shame that the opponents of this program are 2 guys that went to the program, and Dan Levitard and Billy Corbin. But here we are.
We have another comment here from DJ to Third. He says, Cam was surrounded by more talent in Miami than he's ever had at his other schools combined. Not true. He had multiple receivers drafted from Washington State. He had 0.
Stripling was there.
Yeah, and Stribling from and Ole Miss. That'll be 3 guys, right? Mario's done an elite job of getting talent. If Dawson's the reason Cam went #1, why is Emory still so bad 3 years later? Well, I mean, look, we don't know how bad Emory is or good. We still have to see him play. It looks like Miami's moving on from him. I don't know that Emory has the same talent level as a Cam Ward. Cam Ward was extremely talented, but he was a late round to undrafted free agent before he came to Miami. My friend DJ the Third, why didn't he come out then? Why didn't he leave? If he went to Florida State, would he have had the same results? I don't think he would have. Of course, the talent has a lot to do with it. Carson Beck had a lot of talent around him at Georgia and is looking like a whole different quarterback this year as well. So we can continue having this discussion. I appreciate the support of the podcast. It's probably somewhere in between what both of us are saying. Shannon Dawson has led Miami to a lot of success offensively the last couple of years. And as D-Money said, it's a lot better than we've seen previously. We had the number one offense in the country last year, and we are in the national championship this year. Cam Ward was a projected undrafted free agent. He came to Miami. Something changed. What was it, my friend? He had more receiver talent at Washington State. Was it just the offensive line? What was it? What was it? What was it then, my friend? What was it then? And by the way, everyone's saying he needs more talent around him. He needs more talent around him now with the Tennessee Titans. So what? He just has never had talent around him only in Miami. And Miami's the only place he's ever had talent around him. He was 12-13 before he came to Miami. Let's give the people of Miami the respect for what they did with this man.
Thank you, Cam Ward. Thank you, Calvin Ward. Thank you, Patrice Ward. Anytime. East Las Canarias, next time, my tree. We went to a nice Italian restaurant the first time we had lunch with the Wards. One of the best lunches of my life. The best people. Thank you for saving the program. I hope you're at the national championship game like you were at the last game because you guys are all part of it, regardless of what Pete says. I'm with you, DJ.
I don't say they're not a part of it. I get upset at the people who don't give our coaching staff any credit. Don't give them any credit for what transpired there. So guess what? I'm going to give them the credit if no one else wants to.
It is a nice looking hoodie.
It is. You just want to show off the shine off that Adidas logo. East Las Canarias, by the way, 7 different types of croquetas.
7,
including the OG ham, which is award winning, the cubaritos, the salads, the pastries, the desserts, the traditional sandwiches, the non-traditional sandwiches. You got Korean kimchi in that mix. You got Venezuelan tequeños in that mix. By the way, 50% off all tequeños in honor of all the good news coming out of Venezuela. So we're taking care of the whole globe here on East Las Canarias in the Dayland Mall Dining Pavilion. I'm going to holler at Brooks. Brooks says, where'd I go? I need to be baptized in Miami. I'm saying, brother, you don't got to go to anywhere fancy. Dayland Mall Dining Pavilion. They'll take you around the world. The number one spot in South Florida.
Why do we gotta uplift the cane and put others down, man? We can uplift them all at the same time. Let's give them some credit, man.
There it is. On his way to East Las Canarias right now. Pete's uplifting a storm over there in the corner. Good show today.
Can you uplift the quarterback?
Yeah, we got to uplift the quarterback feet. We got to remember, was Buckshot Calvert still of eligibility?
I just heard that he is the new quarterbacks coach at, I'll tell you right now.
ESPN's got to fix this thing on their website. I talked myself into Jake Retzlaff and he's got no eligibility. What are we doing?
Yeah, someone told me that name too. Yeah, I'm trying to figure out
because he's listed as a junior because ESPN hasn't updated anybody's class in 2 years.
I can't find it. Yeah, Buckshot's the new QB coach somewhere. It might be Carroll City, might be Central. Not exactly sure.
That's a Miami fit right there. Shout out to Buckshot.
I should feel better, right?
Oh, feel better.
The Natties should feel better than this.
Brother, we're just getting started.
Yeah.
You got Peso Pluma on the beach. Come down to the beach. There's all the festivities over there.
No, it's the beach.
Oh, yeah, it's the beach.
No one wants to go to
There's
the
a reason
beach.
why they have the festivities there. Right?
Literally no one wants
The
to go to the
furthest
beach.
east I go is Alapata, baby.
Yeah.
All right, well, I'll be there with the college football playoff. Who goes to these events, those college football playoff events? I'm trying to think. Does the Syracuse Orange go? Like, who goes? I'm sure some college football luminaries going out here.
The Syracuse Orange? What do you mean?
The big
luminaries.
Big fat orange.
That's
like
Obi.
Obi.
Yeah. That's not the Syracuse Orange. That's the orange. That's Obi, the Orange Bowl Orange. That's a huge difference.
Really?
Massive difference.
Who's the Syracuse Orange?
That's the Orange man. That's the Syracuse Orange.
Syracuse
Obi
Orange.
is a staple of our
right
city. That's pretty
Obi?
That's pretty
Oh,
bad.
yeah,
that you
I
don't
know
know
Obi.
the difference. Yeah. Hold on, let me get that camera. Yeah, there you go.
There you go. There's Obi.
Yeah, that's Obi. That's a big difference.
You're not playing quarterback for my team. Look at that sleeve. Although Carson Beck paved the way. Carson Beck paved the way. You know, actually who paved the way for you is Mendoza and Castellanos, both of whom blew out Ty Simpson.
That's right.
Patrick Aveo appreciates you, man. Tamper Squad. Go get Connor Wiegman, 5,400 yards, 44 touchdowns versus 69 T, 63% completion, 1,000 yards rushing. Would be a home run.
Dude, we when I first started with CIS, we were talking a lot about Connor Wegman and how much I was a big Wegman guy. And then I found out, like, you know, he's got to work on the professional approach. If he's buttoned that up, he's a talent. I still like him.
Yeah, that can't be happening. We need a pro. I'm saying get Dylan Raiola, get DJ Lagway. Let's see who's wearing the nice button up, who's wearing the baggy influencer clothes, who's coming with the firm handshake, the eye contact, who's got the leather on their notebooks. I'm betting. We'll see. I don't want to judge anybody.
Tiger,
but let's bring them in.
All those
and
things.
let's see who takes care of those things.
Tiger, all those things.
Appreciate everybody in the chat. All 3,200 of you.
Brown. How are we here?
We're gonna be laughing about all this. We're gonna win the national championship and you know, bring Joe Mauer out of retirement to be our quarterback. He's got full eligibility, having played baseball and made it to the Hall of Fame. Be a Chris Wenke. We gotta expect the unexpected, man. It's gonna be an interesting day of the portal.
Yeah, interesting
time in the portal. It's gonna be a great. It is a great week.
You all right? You're allergic to D Money's BS?
All this Cam Ward talk making me sick.
All right, go Canes.